This tutorial is on understanding source types, scholarly, trade, and popular sources. It is part 3 in our Search for Sources series. After watching this tutorial, you'll understand the difference between scholarly, trade, and popular sources, and know when to use different types of sources. In many fields, you'll find scholarly, trade, and popular sources. These words refer to the intended audience of the work. Scholarly sources are written for experts, researchers, and students in a field. These articles are usually published in academic journals. The authors of scholarly sources are other experts or researchers in that field. These articles have usually been through the peer review process, where other experts vetted them before they were published. They're often long, with graphs, charts, tables, and lists of references or citations. Trade sources are written for working professionals in a field. They are usually published in journals and magazines. The authors of trade sources are other professionals in that field, or sometimes staff writers for the magazine. The articles can be long, but are usually to the point and are easy to understand. They don't usually include a reference list or citations. Popular sources are written for everyone, including the general public. These sources can be published in newspapers, magazines, books, or online. The authors of popular sources might be journalists, freelancers, staff writers, or regular people. These sources should be easy to understand for all readers. They rarely include a reference list or citations. One thing to remember is that not every article published in a peer-reviewed journal is peer-reviewed. Peer-reviewed journals also include other articles like press releases, letters, and news. These articles haven't been peer-reviewed. If you're required to use a peer-reviewed article, make sure the article itself has been through that vetting process. Sometimes your instructor or assignment will specify what kinds of sources you need to use for a project. That makes it simple because you can easily choose sources that your professor will approve. Other times, your assignment instructions might say something like, must use 3 articles, including 1 scholarly article. That makes it harder because now you have to decide which sources are best. When you have a choice, think about what kind of course and what kind of project it is. Is the information for your project going to be in scholarly journals? Or is this a topic where you need to use a trade or popular source? Here are some examples. You're writing a history paper, analyzing the length of soldiers' letters home during the Civil War. Look for scholarly articles by writers and researchers who are familiar with the time period and the conventions of letter writing. Example 2. You're doing a biology presentation where you discuss parents' first-hand experiences dealing with healthcare for their children with cystic fibrosis. You might find this information in a couple of different places. Look for scholarly articles that are qualitative studies on parents' experiences. Or look for popular sources such as memoirs, newspaper articles, online forums, or social media where parents informally share their experiences. Example 3. You're creating a fashion merchandising business plan where you launch a new tween line geared toward department stores. This is another example where you might need to look in a couple places to find the information. Use trade publications that list sales figures and trends for tween clothing and department stores. Or look for popular sources where customers discuss what kinds of clothing they'd buy and where they'd shop for it. As you view more types of sources, it will become easier to decide if you should use a scholarly, trade, or popular source. Thanks for watching. Contact the library if you'd like assistance. If you'd like to share feedback on this tutorial, you can do so at the link or QR code on your screen.